cared for the earth since the beginning of time. We are the stewards, the caretakers, the keepers of the land, air, and water. We are the indigenous people of the world, and we are using our traditional ways and science to protect Mother Earth. I'm Steve Sweetholt, and welcome to Down to Earth. Today in our show, we're heading to Arizona, where we'll meet a Navajo community that operates an award-winning recycling center. And later on the show, we'll meet Maria Laron in Copenhagen, where she describes the devastating effects that climate change is having on Indigenous farmers in the Philippines. As we arrive at the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian community, it's hard to believe their territory is located in the heart of an urban region with more than 4 million people. Beyond the village's business center and residential neighborhoods lies thousands of acres of farmland and nature preserves. The Pima-Maricopa people have earned a reputation as leaders in sustainable green businesses. Today, Art will get a behind-the-scenes look at the tribe's award-winning landfill and recycling center. His first stop is the tribal headquarters, where he'll meet with community leaders to find out how it all began.
Looking around, you have amazing environmental programs. How did they come about?
Well, I just think overall it was just a concern by the community members of taking care of the land. And I think that's important to all Native people. You take care of the land, the air, the water, the elements that keep us alive. It's always been, part of Native culture to make sure you take care of that. We're in charge of that.
And the government is left with the onerous task of finding a balance between economic development and environmental traditional resource protection. What is the vision for the community in terms of how they might proceed with that balance in mind?
Well, in our community right now, we have approximately 52,600 acres of land. 19,000 of that has been put in preserve.
And that's a population of how many?
And the population have just went over 9,000 members. And not all members live here in our community. Right. Maybe a little over half. But a big majority of our population is also under 18 years old. So that's something else as a community we have to look forward to, as providing places for these individuals to live someday.
Arizona is home to 21 tribes each, with its own distinct history, language, and traditions. Today, the Navajo, Apache, Hopi, Pima-Maricopa, and other communities frequently work together to address concerns about health, education, land management, and natural resources. The tribes and their 250,000 members contribute to the rich cultural diversity of Arizona.
Our division is called the Environmental Protection Natural Resources, and that's really what we're charged with. That's our mission, is protecting the environment, the natural resources of the community. They're irreplaceable resources, so that's very important to the community. Preserving the land for future generations and the current generation, so it's really important. We have a variety of programs: air quality, water quality, which are both obviously vital to the survival of the people. We have an active recycling program. We have a landfill that incorporates recycling of normal materials and then also green waste. So that's a really important component of the landfill and something that the community is really proud of.
For decades, the fields and roadsides of the Salt River Pima-Maricopa's lands were used as illegal dumping grounds for unwanted furniture, cars, and appliances. This ongoing problem was the catalyst for community leaders to establish a region-wide recycling business. Opened in 2001, the material recovery facility processes more than 80,000 tons of recycling per year. Today, the problem with illegal dumping has all but disappeared.
This facility here is to actually prolong the life of the landfill, recycle and prolong our resources. We divert about 85,000 tons a year out of the landfill through this recycling facility.
And what are some of the features at this particular facility that might be different
One thing, this is a single stream plant, so everything that comes in bulk, and then they have to sort it by all the different types of recyclables. In some places, that's done at the curb. Here, it's done actually with the equipment, and it's a relatively new facility.
This place is like a beehive of activity. There's a lot of action, and people are...
Yeah, everything's going all over the place. It all starts right there. You see the conveyor belt? That's the first stuff coming in. So these guys are grabbing stuff that doesn't belong, pulling it off, and then it starts to go through all the different sorting processes. This is the paper sorting. Over here, you see all the plastics and things like that coming off of there. Then it gets down below. And you have these ladies right here actually separating the different types of plastic. You notice they let the aluminum cans go.
So how does recycling make economic sense?
It's kind of a misnomer. There's a lot of people out there that think that it's actually costs money to recycle, but the cities and the communities that use this recycling facility actually get paid for their material coming in here. So rather than pay us to dispose of it, they're not only avoiding a cost, but they're also making money off of the materials they bring to us. And the way they're able to do that is they're able to market these materials at a rate to make that worthwhile. It's a high-tech optical scanner. It actually recognizes the difference between the paper and the other products, and then it'll shoot a puff of air to separate them. So it recognizes it with this, and then as it goes under here, it shoots the puff of air, and you can kind of see it when you get through that window right there, how it separates it.
Okay, Rich, these people look very focused. If I disturb one and start visiting, does the whole place shut down, or what happens?
Yeah, you'll mess up the whole line, actually.
Yeah.
They're constantly in motion. You can see she's taking stuff that belongs in the big bin. That's your different types of milk jugs. This is a different type of plastic. She's pulling off the glass in this bin right here. The next gal is also picking up some milk jugs, but she's also getting paper and also getting other types of plastic. So everybody's got a certain job that they're doing, and if one misses it, then it kind of messes up the whole operation.
Hey, Rich, this is worth a lot of money, man.
That's one of the reasons it's built in this bin. This is stuff that doesn't belong in the recycle bin, but these guys will find a place for it. You got an old license plate here. They'll take it to a scrap metal recycler and make sure it gets recycled.
All of the things that we now call sustainability, or green building, or green ways of doing things, were always part of the community's life and way of living. So now just finding ways to incorporate that into more contemporary life and activities that people are engaged in every day, I think is a challenge, but also an opportunity for the young people of the community to connect with the elders that still do remember when things were very sustainable traditionally, but finding ways to still incorporate that.
The Pima-Maricopa have become adept at turning environmental threats into green solutions. With the volume of garden waste on the increase in the region, disposing it in the tribe's landfill was not a viable option. A program was set up, and instead of throwing green waste away, it's turned into compost for use by local gardeners, farmers, and landscapers.
Ours is probably the biggest in the valley. We probably process about 50,000 tons of green waste here. A lot of the materials coming in, it's individuals bringing it in. There is one of the cities that actually operates a what they call a green barrel program, where they actually, if you want, get a separate barrel. You have a trash barrel, a recycle barrel, and a green barrel, and you put your yard waste in that green barrel, and they pick it up in a separate truck and take it directly here. The main thing is keeping the material out of the landfill that we could reuse. So by keeping this material out of the landfill, probably every 10 years or so, we're saving a year's worth of airspace that we could use and prolong the life of the landfills.